We just finished Act 3. Time once again to check in on this experience. We will, of course, do Q&A with listener questions a little bit later, after you all have had some time and distance for perspective. But right now, in the immediate aftermath, let's check in. First of all,
I'm still just like gobsmacked.
Yeah,
so I'm just
a
gonna
little gobsmacked.
So first of all, big picture, what was it like playing through this book? You know, what surprised you? What was extra fun? What was extra hard, challenging, frustrating? All that kind of stuff. From the macro level, what was it like?
Frightening. Having to like sort of relearn the world every time we went into the Dreamlands, that the rules were going to be different, timing was going to be odd. We didn't know if we'd been there before. Like, it was so like on edge. Every time you said, "You guys going to go back to the Dreamlands tonight?" I was always like, "No, I don't think we should. I feel like maybe we shouldn't." I was really, really scared every time we descended those steps. But at the same time, just from an outside perspective, I love that this AP affords that chapter in this bigger story where it's just insane and we get all these old school items that are only available there. Like, that part stuff is really great.
That was a lot of fun.
But this was the book where obviously madness became such a problem.
It was hard.
And it became a problem creatively.
Yeah.
To keep it fresh and not annoying. Like it can't, like, it's annoying, obviously, as a mechanic, because it's an obstacle. It's a thing we have to contend with and wrestle with and deal with.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
it also, you just don't want it to get repetitive. So that part was really, really hard. And so when Dora got a greater madness, it was just like, oh my God, we've done everything already. Like, why is this one greater than the others? And what is the impact of that? So that was an interesting challenge that I'm not sure that I personally met at the level I wanted to.
It was a hard balance, right? Like, I feel like, so the first one we had this book was after Dabbook died very, very early.
Yeah.
And then you all know I left that, I waved my hand and 2 weeks passed and Dabbook was fine again. That is not the way to handle this. What am I doing? That's not how we tell stories in this thing. But then also we had some stretches where I guess for 5 episodes we're just being mad. And I was like, okay, now that's also... there's a few
know
episodes
at that
in there.
Time how many madnesses we were going to have to contend with.
And it's a little like that section in book 1 when Gull was sick in the chapel, where I kept thinking, oh, surely by the end of this we're going to have this taken care of. But that, the dice kind of did what they did a number of times, and it was like, okay, I guess we're talking to the cat this episode. Okay. Those were tough. We had to figure that out.
It was also the thing where I definitely feel like there was a disconnect at times between the characters were like, oh, no, we definitely should not go to the Dreamlands because we are not at peak place.
Yeah.
But the players are like, as performers are going like, we need to get back to the Dreamlands. We need to get going kind of thing, because we can only have so much of this at the boat.
And we've talked a little bit off mic, but let's bring this on mic. Okay, so book 3 has this crutch of, in addition to these amazing adventures you're having in the Dreamlands, there's also like 3 months passing on the boat. Why wouldn't these people, if they could, take a few weeks to heal up?
Yeah.
That just will not exist anymore. So we will be, after this book, more back in the vein of how we were in the early days. You're mad? Well, tough it up. Like, let's see what happens. You still got to keep going.
Vic's paranoia is Roni's paranoia is just lasting long time there.
Yeah. Because the ones, honestly, I think the stories where we find a way to press forward are the ones that end up being the most interesting. Like, I think this book, Vic's the madness
Inception.
he got. Yeah, that one was fun because it changed him during a stretch of time where you were able to still continue adventuring.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing a little more powering through, like you should always do. That's very psychologically healthy. Powering through your
Just
dark
push
thoughts.
it down, James.
Just push
it's
it down.
Probably nothing.
Well, I have to say, like, I love the madnesses, the game mechanic of it, because it gives opportunities to try to figure out ways to do things from a story perspective that are not just optimal, that create opportunities for tension within the party, but then greater good of like, okay, well, we still have to keep moving forward.
Right.
And so I love that. And I love trying to figure out ways to make it so that they drive things rather than slow things down.
I just love how distinct and clear each of the members of the ship's crew were for us.
Yeah.
Going through these madnesses as part of fleshing out the story. Each of these characters added so much to our journey, to our recovery, to our relationships with each other, to our relationship to the boat, and filling that 3-month journey out would have been impossible without a real crew to interact with.
And it gave such great stakes, right?
Yeah.
Because the thought of Lynn or Din getting killed was weighed on me. Like, I'm like, that would really fucking suck.
Looking forward to hearing conversations with each of the crew members, and like what do they think about what we're doing and what we're going for.
Yeah, well, there's like so many unfinished stories from those crew members, and it's like, oh no, they have lives, they have to keep going.
Yeah, I hope Gosa finds someone to help her continue learning to read.
I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss them.
Surprises. Biggest surprises.
Oh, the Mad Poet. That whole the combination of the sacrifices and, hey, guess what? I've already you don't get to say what your wish is now.
You've already done it, and
You've
you didn't know it.
You didn't know it.
Yeah.
Like, that was like, oh fuck, that I didn't realize that's what was happening, and that this is how this is going to work.
I had that night that we did that. I was like, so let's just stop. And I think these people should have a conversation between themselves, and let's just voice it. Let's get it all out in the air about what we want, what we're willing to give up. Let's do that tonight. And of course, I had such I had a hidden agenda behind that entire recording the entire time. Of course,
Barnabas showing up in the last
Yeah.
excursion.
Yeah.
Also, Neb not being a bad guy that we had to kill.
Oh man.
Yeah, not killing Neb. I'm surprised that we didn't have to do that.
That was such a fun setup.
That was
Paul and I were giddy with excitement at every step of that. It was like, oh, we're actually getting we're setting him up as a big bad here. This is really fun.
Oh yeah. Yet Nixon did not feel bad about smacking Neb.
Oh yeah, Nixon.
So a couple of big surprises for me came in the very unexpected stories that the dice told. One was Dabwick dying immediately. It was just a total shocker because, Paul, you were being a little more reckless with dabs than usual, but not honestly that much. And the dice's response on that attack of opportunity was way overpowered relative to the choice that you'd made. And then that natural one on the will save at the end of the time in the caravanserai for Vic. None of us saw that coming. I honestly was like, okay, so we'll just wrap up the story in the last 5 minutes of this episode and we'll move on. Like, oh no, this is the next 6 months of our lives.
No, there were things like that where it was like great story things, just fantastic story things.
And I had never even thought of the possibility of the ramifications of our prior visits to each of these places. Like that wasn't something that had crossed my mind until we started getting the clues. So I don't know if that's a surprise, but I didn't anticipate it.
I would definitely say every single time we stepped into one of the places, I was reminded again that anything that I thought I knew about the place and what I thought was going to happen was not what was going to happen.
Right. You seem to, in particular, have a real moment of liberation when you finally were like, I actually have to just let go of that and embrace the chaos and know that I will not know.
Yeah.
You seemed very liberated by that.
But I had to keep reminding myself because I kept being like, I can somehow think about this and I'll be able to have, and I was like, no, there is none of that. Every time we go into the Dreamlands, what we think is going to happen, every bit of information that we have is wrong. It will not assist us.
It's out of date.
Yeah.
It's out of date.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Surprises. I mean, literally.
Nightmare Dragon.
Nightmare Dragon.
Big surprise.
That was a surprise.
Yeah.
That was a fun fight.
Yeah.
That was a fun fight.
Sure.
Going to the moon was a surprise. I mean, the hints were dropped. Like the moon gets talked about a few times, and the ship goes there. But I did not think we would go to the moon.
Maeve told us.
Maeve told you.
The fact that we didn't fight Mr. Wanderlust, still a surprise.
Yeah.
But we buffed to shit for that fight. My God.
And what were your things? You're like, please make fun of me for wanting this to be a fight.
Yeah.
Right.
And you were the one that palavered with with Nathan Wanderlust.
Nathaniel.
We had a lot to talk about.
Nate to his friends.
Favorite moments, favorite arcs, either of the story or for characters?
Tricorn hat.
Tricorn
Fucking
hat.
great.
That was,
Quest.
That was very.
I mean, I thought we were going to die like 40 times over the course of that, what ended up being a very brief period of travel between the real world and the Dreamlands. But the fight that crossed over, killing Elish, that was really, that was my favorite.
I think that was the
Dream
fight I
Quest.
was most terrified for.
And it went so bad, so fast.
Yeah.
I that's what terrified me. Like that, I don't think I entered it already terrified.
Yeah.
But when Vedrak landed that first spell strike on me, I'm like, oh,
Don't mess with the
I can't
mages.
take another one of those.
It was like 70 some points of
Yeah,
damage.
it was like
ridiculous.
60 or it was like 2/3 of your hit points.
It was
kind of
ludicrous.
thing.
But bringing it back to the real world and having everybody on the ship and like that felt like it was so refreshing. It was to be like, no, we're all in this together now, and we're all gonna.
We get a little bit of a
we got a little
restart.
boost here,
Yes, yeah.
Even though we'd all destroyed ourselves waking up, we did so much damage to ourselves.
And then suddenly all those people were in danger. But at least you had.
But at least we had Stasi
Yep.
and Barnabas
Yes.
and Nixon, and that was that made the difference, I think.
What a fucking badass combatant Nixon was a big surprise for me.
It is a ludicrous build, but really effective.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
remember thinking,
Thank you for that.
Maybe I shouldn't be
I
as
think-
fucking cocky when I'm talking
I
to
think
him.
he's the reason we're all gonna have to get new backup buddies. Where I was like, I'm not playing with
I'm
him.
not going to let you have this build.
I am going to, in terms of like favorite arcs or whatever, Grip is gonna not know what to do with himself, not working on a ship now. I think that is something I would never have thought would be a thing. But my God, did I love it!
And that
It was so much fun.
And like look now in retrospect, looking back, as that entire book, Grip's story was finding a new home and becoming a member of a new crew, and we didn't know that when we started. I just love that piece of this kind of storytelling. I think
It's
is
totally
so magical.
your Lieutenant Dan. You're like happy on the boat, just off, free
That's
of cares and stuff.
I loved getting to know Skywin and having a relationship with her, and just love her. What a great character.
I have to say that one of my favorite moment/arcs was poor Dabwick having to be the quote unquote sane one in the room. And you kept doing this thing where you just kept underplaying every single thing, and it was so brilliant. And like I feel like everybody has had those moments in their life where they're just like, here's another pile of shit for you to deal with, and another one, and you're just like, okay. And you handled it so wonderfully, where it was hilarious and heartbreaking at the same time.
I think it was we should scry Tima. And you're like, okay.
Oh my God, you too.
Et tu, Dora?
Right.
Oh God, I loved that. It was so good.
I enjoyed the early act arc of Dora still being insane while she was doing the research and starting the pen pal conversation with
was great.
Tima, locking herself in the book nook, not taking food and being a little furtive, and like that whole thing felt very.
And that piece of art of that
I know,
moment
it's
is
just
so cool.
delicious. It's just delicious.
All right. How many cats are in the published book?
Yeah, other guesses at what I added. I think some of that stuff was a little more obvious this point.
I will say too, I absolutely loved Dora's backstory when she managed to escape from the high-level wizard and break the.
the
I
anathema
loved
dream.
that story.
So
that was like
awesome.
such a
My
great
favorite
one.
one since the
That was
violin.
so good.
Speaking of the violin,
Yeah.
no Eric in that tale.
Nope.
There sure wasn't.
I think I didn't notice that.
We've closed now more than half of the loops that were opened in the prologue and the first chapter, but there are still a bunch of a bunch open. Okay,
I totally was going to be like 80 years old. She's 80 years old. Maybe she's like, and then you threw in the thing of like, oh, she went and stayed in
been
this
in
one
Arlington.
for 80 plus. He was there till she was 82 or 83, and I'm like,
85.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
So yes, there are no cats, of course. I think the cats walking around your feet in Brelin's ballroom. I think those were in the book, but the rest was all just because I like cats. And to the point that Egu's Kai's, and Egu's Kai's isn't the name of the place. There's no name, but the cats being there, that I just basically reskinned the setup from the book, which is the ghoul will summon you, but then there were like 2 quests that were going to be kind of back to back where you're working with ghouls, and I'm like, cats, why not cats? Let's work for cats.
Where did Pumpkin come from?
The name Luna that Vedrak gives his cats came from one of our listeners' cats. Was that from Alex? Alex's cat. Then Pumpkin, I think, burst out of my mouth when I was like, oh, it's got another name. So I like to call my cats Pumpkin. So that is that flew out there.
That was really sweet.
Yeah.
Pumpkin.
Other things changed. So Arventon in the book has 0 flavor or setup in the book, so everything about the way it looked and its history was entirely for our game. And the size and the burrowing nature of the Womps was me. They're totally not a threat in the book. They're small or medium size or something. They just seemed like a total cakewalk. And, these things need to be terrifying. And there's also in Arventon only 6 of them in the book. And I'm like, no, the place has to be lousy with Womps. So
What treasure did we miss in Arventon?
So at some point along the way, I told Katie to remember to ask me about treasure that we missed. But it turns out after that moment, Katie, in a different timeline, I solved some of the problems. So, okay. So you missed the Ring of Psychic Mastery in the Enchanted Wood. And I was...
Where was it?
It was some... I think it's in the area where Chester was being kept.
I could have had it so many
You could have had most of the
earlier.
book. Yeah, you could have. And it was like, oh, this is a real shame.
Because we actually have a psychic.
Yeah. And then there were a couple of others that you skipped out of getting the loot, the dream loot in Arventon, purely because of the fact that I filled the entire cemetery with thousands of Womps. So that was on me. And I was like, well, they should have access to some of this stuff. So I solved it in Egu's Kai's with the okay, you want to you're gonna ask for some repayment in favor of this service. So I took all of the loot you had heretofore missed and let you pick a few of them.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, so that's how I solved that one.
That was awesome.
Were there any other like old school items that we did not find?
I mean, I was pretty happy with the ones that we got to play
Yeah.
with.
Oh, me
That
too.
was
Like I'm sad I never got to cut anyone's head off with the Vorpal blade.
Especially
And,
since you hit a natural 20 you hit a crit with someone
Yeah.
late in the game.
it was either with the Dan Bong or with my fists.
I think by the time I did the Egu's Kai's fix, I think we got all of them out that I was at least excited about. And we actually got to use, I had no clue what order you were going to do any of these things, which meant I had no clue what order these psychometry visions were going to come out, when Chester would fall in this thing. So imagine if you did the Enchanted Wood last, then Chester just becomes this brief little blip at the end of the story rather than something that starts early and gives us time in the real world for me to bring the J-Dove stuff in. But yeah, I was so glad because we got the Rod of Lordly Might so late. And because, Grip as a fighter doesn't really need it, I was like, oh, we're not really going to get a chance to use it. But then the jailbreak happened.
That was an awesome use.
It was a great idea.
Yeah. How about leaving these talismans behind from our previous visits to the Dreamlands? Is that something that is talked about or suggested in the book, or something you just okay?
Once we decided we were going to do this, I stopped reading the message boards and other GMs and players talking about this, but one thing that had stuck in my head from years and years ago was a thread somewhere. I don't remember if it was on the Paizo boards or Reddit or something. A bunch of players complaining about this book, and their complaints about it really kind of surprised me, and they stuck in my head. And the gist was basically, book 3 sucks because you spend these first 2 books building these characters, engaged in this world, and then everything stops for like a year of your life while you do these things that have no impact and no relevance to the story, and then you pick up the story again in book 4, and I'm like, why? I mean, we need to use this time to...
We would still be engaged in the story because...
Have relevance to the story. Like, you're still digging in... That's why I wanted to make it. You're still digging into your past. There are ramifications left behind from what you did before, and that I tried to really, really get you all feeling like what you were doing there was, I don't know if matter is the right word, but had an impact.
Yeah.
And that you should feel it, you should be questioning, are other people feeling it, how sentient are these dreams, all that kind of stuff, which is not baked into this AP. I mean, It really is just kind of like, here's 7 fetch quests.
So the whole concept of we've been here before, and this is what happened because of that. That was not.
It exists as, you know, those 2-sentence versions that you got when you research the gifts.
Yeah.
That's it. That's like all that's said about what have happened before. And
But your party had gone through before. That's baked in.
that's baked in. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not...
That you're having to redo these quests.
But it's
baked
not
in.
specifically spelled out like your party went here, and because your party went here and did something, the change that's occurred from the information that you got to what's happening now, like that's on you.
That's
So-
that's our story.
How is the ceramic city informed in
No
the
explanation.
AP? I love it.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It is ceramic, though.
People there are now ceramic. Yeah, that's all.
okay.
That's all it is.
Oh man,
great.
that was a surprise. Finding out how much we had completely, in some cases, destroyed these worlds was a surprise. Like the one of Tima, like going in the middle of the street and like crying out the name of the city and just completely obliterating everything. I was like, oh, that's not great.
It's dark.
Yeah.
No darker than you using Mortimer as a human shield.
R.I.P.
Did you recognize? So
Well, I'm surprised. Knowing that now, I'm surprised they did not.
They,
String me up.
They
I know.
didn't know, though, right? Like
they
wouldn't
didn't.
have known.
Yeah. So did you recognize in the big long story? So this book, we did those dreams of Jamandor that were your dreams. You have a dream about wanting to die. You have a dream about learning a new skill. You have a dream about, and then I let you tell a story, and I ported all that shit directly. And did you recognize those things as they were coming?
The mirror, yeah.
Yeah, so like that came, and then
box.
the lying in a
no.
coffin and missing your friends and wanting to feel what they feel. The whole slapping game.
I definitely recognize the slapping
okay.
game. Yeah.
You'll probably enjoy listening to those dreams again now, knowing I was doing something with them.
Yeah.
And at the time it was just like, part of the trippy Jamandor experience, of course.
But even just as that, I found that to be a very fun mechanic.
Oh, good.
Me too.
Good. Yeah, because it's also part of this transition to book. I don't own anything with these backstories anymore. So from this point forward, I'm hoping that we will find ways for each of you all, like Paul has already been doing with Dabwick, to bring in your own pieces of this story. And we don't know how or why yet, or what the form that'll take, whether they're written out or whether let's set up a scene and improvise it or whatever. We'll figure that out as we go.
Is there any is Dagobah written into this book at all, or is that just
No, he was supposed to die. He was supposed to die so long ago. He's supposed to die in Fort Halecourse. And I just love the fact that this completely throwaway, essentially barely more than a red shirt scum survived Fort Halecourse, survived Iris Hill, and then survived all the way up to book 3, and getting a chance to use his viewpoint to show you the moon for the
Yes.
first
Oh, yeah.
time too. I was
was
like,
great.
amazing, because otherwise this would have had to come through, an otherworldly being's experience of it. It's like, no, just like this mortal creature is now on the fucking moon and he's freaking out about how weird this is. Yay, that's a great way to share this stuff.
I want to ask you, Robert, when did you make the decision that you were going to sacrifice when did you decide that you're like, okay, this is going to be Barnabas's swan song?
Not when you had first mentioned it, when he had said put that on the maybe pile, but it was sometime. I started thinking about the suggestion more leading up to when the chapter where we all voiced our desires. Mm-hmm. And all that I could think of and all that I came up with at that moment was, I just want this thing gone.
Yeah.
I just don't want this in my head anymore. And then Rob and I talked and were like, yeah, let's have him just decide to do that.
Like he is a caster of this spell. He can go down those stairs if he wants to. And if he just waited a little bit, maybe he comes in, time being so swimmy there.
Loosey-goosey?
Yeah.
I have to say, one of the things that I've really enjoyed about people playing their backup characters when they're not being helpful to the party or doing something that is the thing that they want to do. I love that so much. I absolutely love, like, literally, I love when you would have Dora, or not Dora, Dora going like, well, no, she should leave.
Yeah.
About Stasi.
Sarah doesn't
Stasi.
understand why Stasi hung
Why is
out.
she here? She
Yeah.
should
Other
go.
than that we were on a boat.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere to go.
She was sort of like, she's not infected.
Yeah.
The odds of her getting infected by one of the 5 infected people on this boat are enormous.
Mm-hmm.
She should leave. Like,
Start a
she
life in
did.
Zur.
Yeah. She'd enjoy that.
And I liked the character, and I liked getting to throw his voice in there every once in a while. But I think it made, I don't know, I think it was a good story, and
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like I got to squeeze a little juice out of him. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Kill your darlings.
And
I love it.
he's got an amazing arc now through this first half of the story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a real both tragic and hopeful cast at the end. And it's like something we never could have imagined when he woke up naked in Dora's arms.
Yeah.
We had a crap ton of Dabwick backstory get revealed through this book, some of which I had known and had been planning from the jump, basically. And then a bunch like the first interlude that was a very late edition and kind of built by the two of us. Do you feel like, because we had to throw Dabwick into suddenly main character when we hadn't really delved into too much backstory because of course I couldn't tell you too much because player Paul needed to not know things. Is Dabwick's backstory and inner life feeling more developed to you at this point?
Dabwick feels like a real person to me.
Oh, great.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much history there, and there's like so many stories to mine, and yeah, there's a lot of opportunities.
I know we had that. It was like right around like 60, 61 or something like that, where you were like, Rob, I don't know if this person can actually stay. I don't know why this person would stay with these people. We were like, we gotta figure it out. Yeah.
The Dabwick backup buddies gang
Yeah.
story, that whole storyline was so good.
That night was fun.
That was this book, right?
It was this
Yeah.
book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
It was over a year and a half ago in our actual lives, but
Which one are you talking about?
Sam
Oh,
the Sliver and
the level 0.
Yeah.
the exterminators at Marachnia.
The
At
warrior,
Miami.
The warrior, the
aristocrat.
specialist.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's
expert.
and that's going to
Expert.
help us, right? Because we know about Mun. Well, we've got
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
Because Dabwick has actually been inside that house.
Right.
Dabwick knows where it is, can turn over through Roll20 the entire set of maps for it, because you've all now seen them, and Dabwick
Right.
knows where stuff is.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a chunk of years, but
Sure.
you know the building.
Right.
Should there be any fights in his building?
Giant fleas or something.
Well, awesome. Anything else before we wrap this up?
So now that one backup buddy is gone, and all the other backup buddies they're all gone. I'm assuming that we now get to make new backup buddies.
We will all talk individually.
Oh, you sneaky sneak.
Yeah.
He knows I don't want to do that.
Well,
And building a 10th
I
level
will
character
just
is
say,
a nightmare for me.
I used the word gone very specifically. I did not say dead.
Right.
Yeah.
I did not, and I didn't define
Just
gone.
not at
so
Dabwick's apartment.
you maybe just don't know yet what has happened.
Fair enough.
So, we will all talk individually about that, as we will talk probably pretty extensively about all the leveling stuff before we next meet. Yay!
Thanks for an awesome book, Rob.
Yeah.
This was so
Seriously.
much fun,
Yeah.
and you tie us all in so specifically and individually, and it just makes it a treat. So thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. I'm so glad. So glad. All right, we will in our actual timelines, we will not see each other for several months, which is sad.
Well,
But
we won't see you.
yes, that's true.
We'll get to see each other.
I won't see you for several months. But in the timeline of our listeners, we will probably see you next week with Michaela. Yay!
3 books in the bank.
Dark Nexus is produced by Plug and Hum Productions. This podcast uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Incorporated, used under Paizo's fan content policy. This podcast is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, please visit paizo.com. That's Paizo.com. Dark Nexus uses music and soundscapes by Syrinscape. Check them out at Syrinscape.com. That's Syrinscape.com. Opening and closing themes, along with additional music composed by Rob Kauzlaric. Artwork for Dark Nexus is by Matt Wahlquist. And thanks to DMCP, Richard and Ari, Paul and Shannon, Scotty, Jason, Jess, Joe, Chelsea, Matt, Dave, Derek, Darren, Michaela, J.H., the Biscuit Buddies, and everyone we've gamed with over the years for all the memories and inspiration.
Okay, I'm ready. Thank you for waiting.
Thank you for taking the time that you need to do what you need to do.
I
to
didn't
feel
freak
prepared.
out once, you know?
Thank you guys for thanking each other.
Oh, yeah, we get along.
Everybody shut up.